Hello students, today I will explain to you the sum I gave you last homework. So some entries were explained in the live class. Let's but I'm starting from the beginning. So started business with a capital of 1 lakh. Let's see entries one by one. So started business with a capital of rupees 1 lakh. In journal entry you have to learn every entry. After learning some entries, when a new entry will come, you will be able to make the journal entries. First few entries you have to learn. Whenever business is started with capital, proprietor supplies the capital. Now when capital is supplied by proprietor, that must be in a particular form, like cash, furniture, building, land, or any stock of goods. So whatever is given by the proprietor, that total will constitute capital. So capital is here 1 lakh rupees and nothing is given, that means cash has been supplied. So we will assume that cash has been supplied. So here what will be the entry? Cash is coming in the business and capital account is treated as personal account as it is a loan to the business which it must return to the proprietor. So it is treated like personal account loan. So we know according to the rule of personal account, we credit the giver. So capital is giving the business cash. So one party is cash, another party is capital. So one account will be cash and another account will be capital account. Again, cash is real account and debit. We debit what comes in. So cash is coming and it is given by the capital. So cash account debit to capital account. And narration you have to write being the capital invested in business. Date you must write at first at the start of every entry. Then on Jan 2, cash was deposited into bank. Now when cash is deposited into bank, then our bank account increases and cash account decreases. But both are real accounts. So debit what comes in and credit what goes out. So bank is coming in, we assume it like that. If bank is increasing, then more bank is coming because bank have a debit balance. So bank account debit to cash account being the amount paid into bank will be the narration. Again on Jan 5, office furniture was brought from Goel and Company. Now see here nothing is written that whether it was with check or cash or whether it was paid or not. So we will assume here that this is a credit purchase. But here what are the two accounts affected? So as we are not paying Goel and Company off, so it will remain in our accounts because it owes us some money. So office furniture was brought from Goel and Company. So office furniture is kept under separate account called furniture account or office furniture account. So that is also an asset, so a real account. So office furniture is coming into the business and Goel and Company is the giver. As Goel and Company, any name, easily you can understand that that is a personal account. So Goel and Company is personal account and it is giving us. So Goel and Company will be credited. Being office furniture bought from Goyal and Company. Purchase. Next entry is goods purchased with cash. When we purchase goods with cash, then I have told you that goods related entries are made in 5 heads: purchases account, sales account, purchases return account, sales return account, and stock account. So here goods are being purchased. So purchases account is one account affected. Another thing is that cash is going out. Now you must understand here that under purchases account we only enter those goods purchased, or similarly under sales account, under purchase return, under sales return, and under stock account, means goods related accounts. These accounts are only debited or credited, that means touched, when goods are purchased. And here you must understand the meaning of words goods. Goods mean those items which are bought for resale. That means the company is trading in that particular commodity. So that is called goods. Like for a retailer in your locality, for him what is goods? Whatever he is selling in his shop is goods for him. But if he buys a motorcycle, that is not goods. If he maintains a book, then motorcycle will be entered in assets. That is not for resale. And another thing, that sometimes he buys from market consumable goods for himself, for his own personal use. That is not for resale, that is for his own use. So that is not purchase, that is his own expenses. So under purchases, sales returns, purchase return, and stock account, we only enter those goods which are related to trading, the business, the trade of that particular commodity or the group of commodities. Like for a jute factory, jute bag is the output. So jute is a raw material to it. That is also goods that will go into purchases account. And when it sells the jute bags, prepared jute bags, the jute bags is a sales for him, that will go under sales head. So all the things. But if it is selling machinery, there is separate treatment for that. So their sales or purchase account will not be affected. So that is the concept under which we enter it in purchases account. So purchases account is nominal account, and debit all the expenses and losses and credit all the incomes and gains. That is the rule. So purchases account is an expense, so it will be debited, and cash is going out, so cash will be credited. Being goods purchased for cash 15,000. Again similarly, when purchase is being made on credit, then what we will do? Then purchases account will be one account affected, but cash is not going out. So John and Company will be one account affected. So here it is the giver, so credit the giver. So John and Company will be created instead of cash. So one entry you remember that purchases is debited. Other thing is only to put whether it is cash or whether it is credit. If it is cash, then cash account will be created. If it is credit, then the company's name or the person's name that is given in the sum that you have to make as an account. Again, sale made to Roy and Company and credit, clearly written on credit, so no need to assume here. So here Roy and Company, when it is done on credit, cash will not come, so one party will be the debtor to whom we are selling. So here it is Roy and Company, so we clearly mention here Roy and Company account debit, because debit the receiver according to personal account rule, debit the receiver. Again, sales account, another part is sales account, because we are selling goods to Roy and Company, so sales account will be created as it is an income. So according to nominal account rule, credit all the income and gains, so sales account will be credited. So 40,000 is the amount in both sides. Again, John and Company. John and Company is being returned goods which we have earlier purchased from them. So here this time John and Company is one party and return outward or purchase return is the other party. We can write purchase return instead of return outwards or return outwards. So you must remember that it is return outwards. That means something is going out. If something is going out, that means it must have been brought in earlier. That means clearly purchases, not sales return. Because when sales is returned, when the goods which we have sold earlier is returned, then the goods will come in, so it will be returned inwards. And if we are returning the purchase, it will be returned outwards. So here return outwards is like an income to us. It's not exactly an income, but like an income, because money will come in to the business. Or if see the entry made on January 8. On January 8, we had done purchases account here to John and Company. So John and Company was created by 35,000 then. So John and Company has credit balance of 35,000. That means in his account 35,000 is lying. Now this time when we are debiting him, we are subtracting 5,000 from him, because we have returned goods worth 5,000. So 5,000 is returned to them, and now we will pay them less by 5,000. So that is like an income to us. When we owe less money to John and Company, it is like an income. So return outward is the source of income, so that is nominal account and it is source of income, so it is credited always. You can remember it like it is just opposite to the purchases. So purchases is debited, so always it will be credited. Again, return inward. When Roy and Company is returning goods to us, that is like an expense, because we have added that earlier in sales. Now they are returning goods, so it is assumed here that we will also refund money to Roy and Company. So it is like an expense to us, because it is decreasing our income. decrease in income is also like an expense. So return inward, we make one account, and Roy and Company is another account because we had credit sales to Roy and Company. So Roy and Company owed to us 40,000, but now 1,000 goods is returned, so they will give us only 39,000. So it is like an expense to us. So return inward account is a nominal account, so debit all the expenses 1,000. And to Roy and Company, because it had balance of 40,000, and now 1,000 has to be subtracted. Here also, according to personal account rule, it is the receiver giver, sorry, it is the giver of the goods, it is giving goods to us. So according to nominal personal account rule, credit the giver, being goods returned by Roy and Company. Again, carriage inwards account to cash account is there. Carriage inward was paid. So carriage inward, when it is mentioned that paid carriage on goods purchased, that is called carriage inwards. And carriage inward means when the goods was coming inwards, that carriage was given. So there is a difference between that, because it is an expense, direct expense. It is directly related to production, whereas carriage outward, when we are taking goods out of the factory, that means finished goods, that is a selling expense. So these are kept under separate heads. So we will mention here carriage inwards. Now carriage inwards is nominal account. So according to rule, we will debit it because debit all expenses, and cash is going out, so we will credit cash account. Again, telephone rent was paid by check. When telephone rent is paid by check, then telephone rent account we keep it under separated. Now you understand how we make heads. So in account, whichever head is relevant and whichever head seems important, which must be kept under a separate head. Telephone expenses is kept under separate head because we need to see how much telephone expenses a proprietor has in his business. He needs to see. He can decrease it if it is needed. But if it is included in other heads, that means in other account it is inserted, telephone rent, like we keep a broader head like office expenses, under which we are doing all the entries, advertisement, telephone, carriage. Then what will happen that at the end of the year we will not be able to understand that how much was spent on telephone, how much was spent on stationery, how much was spent on advertisement. So all these heads are kept separately. That is why telephone rent account will become one account, and it is according to nominal account rule, it will be debited. And since it is paid by check, so when check will be encashed by the telephone service provider, then our bank account will decrease, because the banker will make the payment to the telephone company, so it will decrease our bank account. So according to real account rule, credit what goes out, so bank is going out here, we assume, so we call it to bank account. Again, advertisement account. Advertisement account, when we make expense, paid rupees 1,500 for advertisement by check. So advertisement we will also keep under separate head, because advertisement is an important thing to us. How much advertisement and how much sales what we need to compare the data, so we keep advertisement under separated. So advertisement is an expense, and according to nominal account rule it will be debited. And bank, again, if we are paying by check, we will always credit bank account. So two bank account will be there, 1500. Again, drawing goods withdrawn by the proprietor for personal use. Now here you must understand one concept, that a proprietor is separate to its business. So he is assumed to be a separate person and business is a separate person. So whenever goods are withdrawn, that is an expense to the firm. Since goods are or cash is withdrawn, in that case drawing account will be used, and whatever is decreasing, so according to real account rule, we know anything will be taken out from the business by the proprietor, that must be a property of the business, so cash account will be credited here. And some may understand initially that when proprietor is taking the money, cash is coming for him, so it must be cash must be debited, but no. Here think according to accountant of the business, that for business actually the cash is going out, so proprietor is separate totally. For accounting purpose it is totally separate. So drawing account will be debited to cash account. And again, Goyal and Company is paid by check. So when Goyal and Company is paid by check, they will get the money, so debit the receiver according to personal account rule, and again to bank account, because we are paying them by check, so bank will be decreased, so bank will be credited. Again, cash is withdrawn from bank, so when cash is withdrawn from bank, cash will increase in the business and bank will decrease, so cash is debited and bank is credited. Again, John and Company is paid by check, so John and Company is the personal account and it is the receiver, so it will be debited, and bank will decrease, so bank will be credited. Now check is paid by Roy and Company to us, whatever we had due on him, 39,000 after returning goods. So bank account is will increase because this check will be deposited to the bank, and after 3-4 days the check will be encashed. But we will immediately assume that bank is increased since the check has come and it is given by Roy and Company. So according to personal account rule, credit the receiver. Again, cash account debit to sales account, because again cash sale was made. So when cash sale was made, so cash will increase and sales account is a nominal account, source of income, so it will be credited. Again, the rent account, rent paid, so rent we maintain under separate head, given to landlord for use of his property as your office. So rent is debited as under nominal account, it is an expense, and cash is going out, so cash we will credit. Again, salary paid by check, salary we also keep in separated, so salary account will be debited and cash is going out, so and salary account is nominal account, so we will debit as it is an expense. And on last day of the month, commission received in cash, so when we receive commission, we will get the money and cash will increase. If it is given in cash, if it is given in check, bank will increase, so cash account will be debited according to real account rule. And to commission account, that means commission received in cash So commission is the source of income and it is also nominal account. So under nominal account rule, we will credit all the incomes and gains. At last, we will total the column here and here. Both both should match because you know under double entry system, each entry has effect or each transaction has effect on two sides of separate accounts, two or three in case of combined entry, but at least two. So double entry system means every transaction has a debit and vice versa credit effect. Like when goods is purchased, goods come in and cash goes out. So that is the basis of a transaction. It changes the financial position of the firm. Cash has gone out and goods have come in, so it changes financial position. So we have to pass the journal entry, but under double entry system we do it in two accounts. Good will increase and cash will decrease. So according to the golden rule, we will debit and credit all the things. So like this you have to do total and you can write total here. So that is it. I am giving you one homework this week or in the form of assignment. Do it and submit it on the said date. Thank you.